Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. It's your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss an episode of it. Dan Quinn, talking after practice on Monday, was not too happy a camper after, watching the tape over the weekend. Commanders are actually going to have a full pad scrimmage, it sounds like, later today. Be interesting to see how that one turns out. Now, Quinn said that he's been planning this all through the offseason, but you got to wonder if, the performance last week against New England maybe push this further along, or if they're going to change some of the script because of what happened. So after looking at the tape and going back and looking at the All-22, there are a few post-game notes that stand out. It's not really breaking a huge amount of new ground because we kind of covered it the other day. And remember, I'm not a football coach. I'm just a guy, watches a lot of games, watches a lot of tape. I will give you, my honest analysis of it, at least as best I can. But a couple of guys did stand out after watching the coaches' tape. Johnny Newton, from one. I know the defense overall got gashed, especially in the run, but Newton played really, really well. You have to look at everything in totality here. And the fact that literally none of the starters played, and a lot of the number two, the veteran starters at least, didn't play, and a lot of the number twos didn't play as well. So the few guys that were in there that are actually going to see playing time this year didn't have a lot of help. Newton was one of those guys on the line. Still wound up making several splash plays, not just that strip sack fumble of Drake May, but looked pretty good. Didn't get blown off the ball a whole lot. There was one or two plays you might have said was kind of, iffy. But by and large, he played pretty well. And Trey Amos, man, I went back and watched it again. Amos looked really, really good. In fact, I didn't see a receiver lose him the entire time he was in here. And again, these are very small sample sizes because these guys aren't playing a whole lot. But, as far as those two guys go, I think they look pretty good, and they are going to be more than just solid contributors. In fact, Amos really looks good, really looked good against New England. I think he's got a chance to have a big impact. And again, yes, I understand. New England's starting wide receivers, not that great to begin with, and what we saw was mostly backups, although New England played a few of their starters, with May in there. Still, I really think that Amos has got a shot at being a major contributor there this year. I really like the way the defensive backfield at all, in totality is shaping up. But there are some things that you saw that did not look so great, and there are some concerns. Receiver, obviously, the top concern. Now, again, we know Terry McLaurin's not playing. We know Noah Brown isn't playing. Any team that loses their top two receivers probably is going to have some problems in that area. But still, Jalen Lane only saw one target. I don't know if that was on purpose or he just wasn't getting open. But again, only saw one target and didn't make that catch. Ja'Cory Brooks looked really good, even after going back and watching the tape again. I'll be interested to see if he gets a little more time on up the depth chart this week. 5 for 59, and he caught all 5 of the passes thrown to him. So I'll be interested to see if he does get a little more run next Monday against Cincinnati. Again, though, you got to get McLaurin into camp and you got to get Noah Brown healthy. That's just all there is to it. If you can, though, once that happens, you combine the two of them with Deebo Samuel and then either a Brooks, Lane, or Luke McCaffrey or somebody else that impresses. Now the offense is starting to look good. But again, it's probably time to wrap up this negotiation with Terry McLaurin, get him in. There is no indication that that's going to happen anytime soon. I think it's going to be one of those things. I was hoping it would happen this week, but every day that goes by, it gets a little less likely. Linebackers as well did not really look that good. And I'm a little concerned about that. Now, again, Bobby Wagner, great. Frankie Louvu, great. Von Miller, fantastic. But, you know, between Miller and Wagner, those are two guys in their mid 30s. I know that I feel like the club does a really good job of taking care of them, making sure that they don't get hurt, but still, risk of injury is much, much higher with those guys. Commanders worked out a bunch of linebackers and even signed one on Monday. So, you know, they didn't really address it in the offseason. Um, you know, they're hoping that Jordan McGee gets healthy and he's going to be able to get on the field. I don't know. That position group definitely gives me some pause from concern. Again, the fact that the defense got gashed on the ground and none of the guys, you know, again, even when it's threes versus threes or four versus fours, you didn't really see anybody flash. So, from that standpoint, again, it's going to be fine. The starters are going to be fine. But if anybody gets nicked up, that could be a problem during the year. Still got 3 weeks training camp to iron that out. All right, let's go to the mailbag. Again, thank y'all so much for all of the great comments that we have here. At Wayne Kennison, 1710 said, I think Bill did great, talking about Ja'Cory Croxy Merritt. He had great cuts, hit the holes, falling forward finish runs all behind the second and third O-line, and no JD5, which will completely change the gameplay. And yeah, I completely agree with you, Wayne. Yeah, I would have liked to have maybe seen one more, you know, really nice game. But yeah, when you go back and look at it on the film, again, Bill looked really, really good, and I agree with you. You know, that 9-yard run, that was a great and a really fast cut that he made. Again, you know, it's because somebody on the line wasn't able to make a block. And so, you know, and he was still able to cut it up and get some yardage there. At Jeff Gilmore 5058, if you add in the first 4 or 5 of Sam's passes that were flat out dropped, then Sam's numbers looked respectable. Same thing with Bill, 16-yard reception, where the last 5 were done on his own, called back due to a penalty. Give the guys a little bit of credit. Fair point. But again, you know, when you say that, the penalty, that's something you absolutely can't have. And they had, 15 penalties, something like that. Completely unacceptable. You know, if a guy does a great job on a run, you can't have it coming back on account of a flag. So they've got some things to iron out. Fortunately, they've got some time to do it, and we will see, you know, how much better they may look in this burgundy and gold scrimmage coming up a little bit later today. That's going to do it for us. Again, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of it. Drop us a comment in the comment section. And like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.